pro-union, or you for it against it?
I'm in favor of the concept of unions. I'm in favor of the concept of gathering together to collectively bargain because the individual truck driver, the individual filing clerk, has utterly no leverage whatsoever against the large employer. None. And so I'm in favor of the concept. Unfortunately, I'm aware of very, very few unions that are fine examples of organizations that genuinely provide a service to their membership. But I'm in favor of the concept.
Most of them make too much money to have to worry about the guy in the line making $15, $16 an hour, because by the time he gets done, he's going to wind up making 10 or 12.
What are you talking about?
Well, for example, the guy sitting there screwing lug nuts on at Ford, union guy, been there 30 years, makes, what, $15 an hour? Say the union takes what, average out $2 an hour?
I doubt it very much.
You don't think he takes out that much?
No. I aren't, nobody's just sitting there screwing on lug nuts anymore.
How do they get the tires on a car?
With a machine.
I'll agree with that.
Okay, fine.
Let me ask Miss Sharon one question.
No, man, you've been on for 8.5 minutes now. Good grief. It's 4:34. Now, an AM 620 WS lighter subjects for you guys to discuss. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Underlined. And it says, thank you, Joe Espy.
I'm with Joe.
Well, great. I'm sorry you said that, Sharon, because I'm going to do the same damn thing to you that I'm going to do to Joe. And Joe, first of all, faxes a cartoon of a moose. Joe, we worked that one to death about 6 months ago, honey. And the second one is somebody running from a jar of peanut butter. Joe, I'm talking to people on the telephone. You see, this is a telephone call-in show, not a fax-in show. And I'm talking to those people about whatever the hell it is that they want to talk about. So, Joe, if you don't like what they're talking about, then get off your goddamn fax machine and get on the phone. And, Sharon, if you don't like what we're talking about, you bring up something, honey. I mean, I sat here and dumped a dozen things on the table, and, they wanted to go back to yesterday. If you don't like it, bring up something else. Same thing for you, Joe. Don't send me faxes and say, hey, here's something better for you to talk about. No, it's not a fax-in show, Joe. If it is, I'll just sit here and read faxes quietly to myself and say, hey, that was a good one. Okay, we'll wait for here's another one. I'll read this. Let's do, a lady in Brandon. Hi, lady in Brandon. You're on the air at WSUN.
Hi.
This better be good, lady, because, Joe Espy might not like it.
I just wanted to comment on that gentleman who called in about the Bambi analogy with the gun.
Yeah.
Really?
How, I don't know if I can say, you say the A word on me?
Sure you can.
On radio?
Yeah.
I don't personally own a gun, but I have friends who own guns, and if someone wants to own a gun, I have no problem with that. But I tend to know that I would have more trouble killing an animal that's defenseless than killing someone breaking into my house or trying to take, me or one of my family away.
Yep.
I would have I've shot a gun at a gun range. I would have absolutely zero problem with someone who is trying to personally hurt me or one of my family. I would have a problem, though, shooting a defenseless animal sitting in the woods who's just frolicking along, minding his own business.
There you go.
They want to, outfit Bambi with a gun and, maybe...
Yeah, but you need practice on, something hopping around. How is you going to get it?
No.
Got to go out into the woods and wait to find a frolicking deer.
And then I've been sitting here on the phone listening to people calling in about what people are worth. I worked for an employment agency for 2.5 years, and I still don't know what people are worth.
Sure you do. You know what it costs to live.
Yeah, I know what it costs to live, and I know
that's what they're worth, then, isn't it?
Well, true. I know what people are willing to pay.
I mean, when you go to the lumberyard to buy a 2x4,
sure.
The guy says the price is such and such, and you say, well, why is it such and such? And he says, well, because, it costs so much to transport it here, and it costs so much to cut it, and it costs so much for this, and we need ta-da. So you accept that.
Actually, I could tell you what, I can tell you what employers want to pay for people. I mean, a general labor is $5 an hour.
Yeah, but isn't it a weird concept that a piece of wood, we all accept that a piece of wood costs so much because, ta-da, 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 but if you say a human being costs so much because, housing is this much and medical care is that much and transportation is that much, people look at you like you're crazy and say, oh, it's too bad.
I agree. But I still, I don't know what the monetary value would be. I know there is something out there, and that the scales are way unbalanced. And in the fact that, you have executives who make a bazillion amount of dollars. I mean, Michael Eisner from Disney, who makes...
Well, it isn't really a fair example. I mean, it's fun to say, and I've done it. It's fun to jump all over a man that makes $250 million a year, but not genuinely a fair example. But it is fair when you talk about the guys making $3, $5, $7, and $12 million a year.
Look at the presidents of the HMOs. They are making a lot of money on other people, and then don't want to fork out with the whole, going home after 24 hours and everything else. So they just, because they need to have an extra home, or they need to pay a couple more executives a couple more vacations, they can't afford to do that.
Or can't afford to pay the people that shuffle their paper what it costs to live.
Exactly. There should be a little more uniformity, but unions have proven so far that they really, I guess they worked at one time, they don't necessarily work as well today. Because they're more into politics than they are into wages. It's my opinion.
Sounds good to me.
That's just my opinion. That's my experience with unions. Is they're not exactly, they're in for their own wage as well. Not worrying so much about the guys underneath,
Well, unfortunately, there's a favorite book of mine, and it's a book that, frankly, everybody should read, although I guess probably not, because they might not necessarily interpret it correctly, and if I wasn't there to help them. But the book is Animal Farm.
Oh, it's a brilliant book.
Oh, it's a brilliant book, and it's the last couple of pages of Animal Farm that, kind of says it all, because there are the animals and the townspeople, or not the animals, the pigs and the townspeople. You can't tell the two of them apart anymore, and the pigs are, of course, the ones, for the benefit of those who haven't read the book or don't remember, the pigs are the ones who led the revolt on the animal farm.
Right.
And that's unfortunately what happens to an awful lot of labor unions. So, like I said to the other caller, I'm very much in favor of the concept. I have very little to say for the actual practice.
It's just like democracy is a wonderful concept in theory.
Well, I think the same we have the same thing that's wrong with democracy that we have that is wrong with labor unions, and that is, labor unions end up being run by professional labor union runners, and democracies end up being run by professional democracy runners. And that's not the way that either should function properly. Labor unions should be run by laborers, and democracy should be run by citizens.
Absolutely. I think there should be a box on the ballot that says none of the above.
Well, none of the above would be fine, too, and so would drafting people to... No, I'm serious.
Just like jury duty.
Exactly. Precisely. I mean, why would that be such a bizarre concept? We don't find it a bizarre concept that young men be asked to give up a couple of years of their lives in defense of their country. Right. Why would it be a bizarre concept that older men be asked to give up a couple of years of their lives to help run their country?
My concept is always, and everybody's always laughed at my concept, that we should have a panel of 5. We should take the 5 brightest people in the 5 different areas we want to, be good at, the agriculture, pick the 5 best guys, and they ought to run the country for 5 years.
Or just make me king, that's another option.
I've always wanted to be king as well, so.
I'm sorry, madam, I must go.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
That'll be the end of her.
Yeah, gotta get rid of her before she starts making her speech, and I like her better. 576 WSU in Pinellas. I mean, I want that palace. I want that palace. I want that crown. Ooh, that ermine cape. Ooh. People kissing my ring.
Palace already.
It's a simple, modest, humble 3-bedroom home. 576 WSU. Yeah, that leaks. 576, and my roof is in the Virgin Islands. Oh, jeez. Where do I tell my wife that? Although I think it's one way to get rid of the dead stick out front. Because when I tell her that tonight, she's just going to start throwing things and uprooting things, and eventually she'll get to that damn stick out. I'll try to tell her right by the front door and kind of guide her towards the dead stick first. 576 WSU in Pinellas and Hillsborough, 221 WSU, and it's 447.
Now, an AM 620 WSUN traffic patrol update. Here's Chris Walker.
Cobble Mountain
in Clearwater, on Clearwater Beach, with Memorial Causeway being closed down in both directions, safe light going in for an injury accident. Also an injury accident just coming in eastbound.
Talking about angels and aliens. Are they one and the same? Some people believe so. Tonight, I have an expert on both. You gotta listen between 6 and 8 on AM 620 WSUN. Welcome to the Professional Contractors Stock Report, brought to you by the Home Depot. Here's some sound stock advice. Diversify. That's easy at the Home Depot. They've got over 50,000 items in stock. Plumbing, tools, paint, even top quality lumber. And everything's at a guaranteed low price day in, day out. In fact, even if you get a so-called contractor's discount at other places, you'll still pay less at Home Depot. And that's on professional quality stock, like Keller doors. Keller doors are made of high-quality aluminum, so they won't rust, rot, or corrode. All Keller doors are available left-hinged or right-hinged, so you can custom fit them to any doorway. And Keller doors are quick and easy to install. Every Home Depot in Tampa has services a pro like you will appreciate, like dedicated commercial salespeople and a new faster phone sales system. Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. Just the beginning.
This Saturday at noon, it's Smoke This on AM 620 WSUN. Join Dave, your cigar-smoking connoisseur, as he pontificates about the world of cigars, from cigar-smoking tips to cigar-friendly restaurants. He'll be joined by cigar-loving celebrities, and Dave will take your calls. So light up and listen to Smoke This, brought to you in part by Quest Array Cigars and Smoke and Snuff. Smoke This, noon to 2 Saturday on AM 620 WSUN. Entertaining talk radio.
Back to Bob Lassiter on AM 620 WSUN.
Whatever you do, don't cut through his yard.
The Mad Dog on AM 620 WSUN.
Hi, this is Bauer from the Kara and Bauer Show on Coast 107.3. And whenever I'm not sleeping, I'm listening to Lassiter.
9 minutes away from the hour of 5 o'clock, where it works out to about 4:51. Let's go to Temple Terrace. Hi, Temple. You're on the air at WSUN.
Load and lock, Bob.
Hey, load and lock, dude.
Listen, I had a thing happen to me this week with my wife's car. Just about killed me. My wife's car doesn't pass emissions.
Oh, yeah.
I take it to a chain of fix-it places.
Jeez, why didn't you just go across the street? That's where all the places are that fix them.
I hang up my phone on those guys, too. But I take the car to what I thought was a reputable place across the street. They called me back in an hour after they charged me $50-some to put it on a diagnostic machine.
Mm-hmm.
They say the diagnostic results say that it needs a new carburetor. I said, put everything back together. I'll be right there. I come up. I ask them for proof. Show me your diagnostic printout or report or something that says that it needs a new carburetor. And they said, oh, no. We don't have that. I said, then put it on the machine and show me where the machine says that. They put the car on the machine. It passed inspection. There's nothing wrong with the car. So...
Isn't it a great world?
Well, fortunately, I didn't pay the $600.
Load and lock, huh?
Load and lock is right. So I didn't say a word to them. I was really livid, but I bit my tongue, went back across the street to my wife's place of business, and let everybody know there. And she does, 12 to 1,500 people every month through her front door of business. Her front door business is across the street from the other business. So I think word of mouth would do a little better than...
Well, you see, here is probably what has happened. This particular chain, and they're just like a lot of other chains. As a matter of fact, the same damn thing happened. Let's talk about a story that we really know, and we can mention names here. Let's talk about Sears Automotive Centers. Several years ago, in California and I believe New Jersey, they got caught doing work that didn't have to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that ran Sears said, oh my God, are you serious? This is terrible. The chairman of the board, he was devastated. The board of directors, they were devastated. The president, he was devastated. The vice president, everybody right on down the line, they were devastated. These mechanics in their automobile centers were cheating the people.
They were paid on commission.
You know, this certainly was not Sears' policy, and it wasn't Sears' policy to cheat people. Just as I'm sure as it is not the policy of the company that you took your car to get fixed. It is not their policy to cheat people, nor do they hire dishonest people. What they do is squeeze them and squeeze them to the point where otherwise honest people, hardworking people just like you, desperately needing to make a couple of more bucks, will cheat anybody that walks through the door.
Oh, it would have hurt.
And all the guys sitting up in the big office say, we don't understand. That's not our policy.
Financially, it would have killed me. And I think the problem is that they pay these people on a commission level, on a bottom line, what they can produce.
Well, it's probably a combo of, a minimal salary and bonuses based upon what you bring in.
Sure.
Without any real supervision to make sure that what you're bringing in is legitimate work.
Well, I think I'm confident that whatever was wrong with the car, I could have fixed had I not lived in an upscale condo complex that does not allow me to open the hood on my car. And there's a lot of people here who have nothing better to do but enforce those rules. Therefore, I don't dare do that.
Well, I understand, yeah.
And I can respect that. That's one of the reasons I chose to live here.
Exactly, because you don't want to live in some place where people put their cars up on cinder blocks and work on them, right?
No, I don't want to see that.
Except when you need to put your car up on cinder blocks and work on it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't live in a neighborhood where they park RVs until I get one.
Until you get one.
Right.
Well, that's because you're the king, but, I can't, I'm proud of myself that I walked out of there without making a fool of myself or screaming or, ranting and raving at them. I simply took my car and thank you very much.
I'm proud of you for thinking, far enough ahead to say, prove it to me. I would have probably just said, oh, no.
Well, I knew better.
Okay.
I only took it to them because I had no choice, and I knew it needed a tune-up. It was due, and there was nothing wrong with it. But my assumption was, well, we can put if we charge them for a carburetor, whatever else it is, I'm sure we can fix. Let's just tell them it's a carburetor, and if it needs other stuff, if it's electrical, if it's just a matter of tuning or twisting a few screws, we'll do whatever it takes to get it running. But a carburetor sounds like it might be the right thing, so, we'll charge them for a carburetor. It didn't need one. It passed inspection without anything being done to it whatsoever. And I saved myself a lot of money.
Well, these are words that have passed my lips before, publicly and privately, but I'll try it again. I just wonder what percentage of this economy is based upon that type of commerce. In other words, theft, deception, call it whatever the hell you want. What percentage of our economy is based upon that kind of stuff? I fear it is a staggering percentage.
The commercial on television for another type of auto repair for transmission says 90% of our customers don't need a new transmission. Well, that's because there is no such thing as a new transmission. You use rebuild transmissions. So what they do is charge you $1,000 to rebuild your transmission, not a new one, a rebuilt one. So, it's a little deceiving, and it makes them sound like, oh, we don't just put in new transmissions at random. We never do that kind of business. Well, nobody does.
Unbelievable.
So, and that's just, anyhow, my wife will take care of it by telling all of her customers, and I think that would be the best thing that can be done.
Okay, got any animal stories for Sharon?
No, I got a dog, that's about all. So,
okay.
Frog.
Hey, take care. 576 WSUN in Pinellas, Hillsborough, 221 WSUN, and of course, toll free, 1-800-356 WSUN. It's 457.
Now, an AM 620 WSUN Traffic Patrol update. Here's Chris Walker.
Reopening all lanes out on Clearwater Beach at Memorial Causeway. Expect some backups in both delays, though. Lake Caraway and Dale Mabry just coming in with an accident. Southbound 301, the entrance to I-4, also have an accident at that location. Chris Walker, AM 620 WSUN Traffic Patrol.
And now, 7G Live, it's another Ron and Ron replay. Talking religion with comedian Lou Angelwolf.
Pontius should have stood up and been counted.
Well, he was.
If I was Jesus, they would have had to catch me. I'd have been hauling ass if I had that long, thin frame like you did.
Definitely a runner.
Oh, yeah, I'd have been striding.
He's in good shape.
Or what if he turned like a boulder into a car right in front of him?
Here's a car. Get a Carl Lewis build.
Just freak their asses.
They could do it.
I would have turned it into a flying saucer.
Oh, man.
Now we're talking Dianetics.
Be sure to listen to Ron Diaz and Ron Bennington each weekday morning only on the Ron and Ron Show.
Don't miss Ron and Ron. Weekday morning, 6 to 10 a.m. on AM 620 WSUN. Entertaining talk radio.
Have you rented the most talked about movie of the year? That's a good question. It's Pulp Fiction.
Correctamundo.
And it's now available to rent.
We couldn't have planned this better.
Nominated for 7 1994 Academy Awards. Winner, Best Screenplay.
That is fact.
Winner of the 1994 MTV Best Movie Award.
You see the size of that gun he fired at us? It was big in here.
2 thumbs up. Siskel and Ebert call it a wild ride. Rolling Stone magazine says the action sizzles.
Ooh.
And over 70 critics agree it's the #1 movie of the year.
That's a bold statement.
If you've only rented it once, you haven't experienced it at all.
Don't you hate that?
Hey, what?
Uncomfortable silences.
John Travolta, Bruce Willis, Samuel Jackson, and Uma Thurman in Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction.
That's all you had to say.
Rated R restricted. Rent it today.
AM 620 WSUN. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the advertisers, management, or staff of AM 620 WSUN. Entertaining talk radio.
Are you bored with the same old daily routine? Put some excitement into your life. Come visit the tempting treats of Temptations. Temptations provides the best exotic entertainment in Tampa Bay with state-of-the-art sound, concert-quality lighting, and a staff that knows what you expect on a special night out. Temptations will show you a good time. Experience exotic entertainment at Temptations. Open Monday through Saturday, noon to 2 a.m., Sunday 4 to 12, with a free hot lunch Monday through Friday. Temptations, 11600 66th Street North, between Elmerton and Bryan Berry. Temptation.
AM 620 WSUN. St. Petersburg, Tampa, Clearwater. We know you listen. And you like it. Now back to Lassiter on AM 620 WSUN. Entertaining talk radio.
And now here's another exciting offer from Video Treasure Chest. Just in time for William Shatner's birthday. Shatner's TV series, Rescue 911, features everyday people in emergency situations. But the never-before-aired pilot episode actually featured a 911 call from Shatner himself, as this lost classic shows.
911.
My career's in trouble, and you've got to rescue it.
Your name?
William Shatner.
What's wrong with your career, Mr. Shatner?
I'm a fat, aging has-been in a bad toupee.
We already know that, Mr. Shatner.
Did you know that once I was a well-respected Shakespearean actor?
I find that hard to believe, Mr. Shatner.
It's true. Then I got cast as Captain James T. Cook in Star Trek. I figured, what the hell, steady work, maybe some residuals. I'll do it for a couple of years and then go back to Broadway. I never knew it would catch on the way it did.
Then what happened?
After that, it's kind of a blur. Margarine commercials, T.J. Hooker, and then Squat. You've got to help me.
Okay, we can revive your career, but you'll have to do exactly as I say.
I'll do anything.
Okay, first, hire a ghostwriter and crank out a series of bad sci-fi novels called Tech Wars.
Why?
Because tech sounds like Trek, you moron, and it'll fool people into buying the book.
That's a good idea.
Second, spin the books off into a cheesy, syndicated Tech Wars series and star in it as a kind of Captain Kirk-like character, only puffy and red in the face.
Right.
Third, get yourself a network gig hosting some cheap, manipulative, fact-based reality drama with lots of blood and people crying to keep that puffy red face in front of the public.
I see.
In fact, I think we have an opening here.
If I do all that, will I rescue my career?
Hey, it worked for Robert Stack with Unsolved Mysteries.
The lost pilot episode of Rescue 911, entitled I'm William Shatner and I Have No Shame, can be yours for just $19.95 in local video stores. Video Treasure Chest. We've got rooms of this crap.
Oh, God, that's pathetic. There's Spivey out in the hall taking notes. 576 WSUN in Pinellas, Hillsborough, 22. I would have thought they would have thought of all of that by now. 221 WSUN, and toll free 1-800-356 WSUN. A heartfelt thanks to all those people that dropped off during the break.
Probably
you said you discovered something?
Probably had to go cook dinner.
Yeah, right.
Yes, in honor of National, well, it's actually just in Florida, Meatloaf Week. And since it's rapidly coming to a close, we do need to get this in. It hasn't actually a Meatloaf story, but rooting around through the stuff from Mystery Magazine Man today. In the little Pillsbury cookbook, I did find a meatball story that maybe is a suggestion that would be very easy for someone who likes to cook. I'm going to try this. You take the ground beef,
Wait a second,
and
I
you
thought you
shape
said
it
this
into
would
a
be for somebody
square.
who liked to cook.
Well, Maybe for somebody who doesn't like to cook then and wants an easy hint. What they've done is taken a pound of ground beef and shaped it into like a giant square hamburger. I mean, seasoned and all that, whatever you like to put in, like meatloaf or meatballs. Make it into the shape of a giant square. Looks like about 1 inch thick. And then they've cut that giant square into squares. And then you bake it, and then you have meatballs. There, that's my contribution to Meatloaf Week. There you go.
And you had to read that out of a book.
Uh-huh.
Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And why? Did you already know that as a big meatloaf tip or something? Was that something the whole world knew except me? You did? Did you know that? You didn't know that.
Well, no, I was just thinking that, a couple of breaks ago when we were talking during one of the breaks, you were saying, wow, this book is great. This is really
perfect. Lots of helpful tips.
Yeah. Shape your ground beef into a square.
Yeah, and then just cut it into squares like you're cutting a brownie,
Sharon,
and then bake it.
I think, you should think ahead because this book might be, this is, clearly advanced cooking and might be a little bit, ahead of most of the people in the audience. We should try to find, a common denominator here as opposed to this, the advanced gourmet cooking book that you're reading out of.
I thought this was pretty good. See, did I describe it well enough? Do you think, Bobby, that's the picture of how you take the meatloaf, take the meat and shape it into a square and then cut it into squares like brownies.
Little squares,
and then bake it, and then you've got instant meatballs. I think that's a very good, helpful hint for Meatloaf Week. Close enough, ground beef.
How much water do you mix when you make the potatoes?
That would be in the...
Yeah, 1 cup of potato flakes, 1 cup of water,
That would be later in the book.
Yeah, that's the advanced.
No, I'm going to have to look at it.
Let's go to Clearwater. Hi, Clear. You're on the air at WSUN.
Why you ask me a hard question?
Hey, Bob, what's up?
Not much, guy.
Hey, Bob. I'd like to get into some intelligent dialogue with you, but before I do that, I want to ask Sharon a couple questions.
Oh, is it about cooking?
No, it's not about cooking, Sharon.
Hi, Clearwater guy. What's going on in the OJ case? I remember you.
Oh, I'm not going to talk OJ today.
You're not?
No, I'm going to talk about your gun.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes.
I'm tired of this. No, I'm going to go back to meatballs and meatloaf.
Sharon.
No, forget it.
Sharon.
No.
You say you go to the target range and you practice with your weapon, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do the paper targets look like that you shoot at?
Circles.
You shoot at the circles?
Mm-hmm.
Are you the only one that shoots at the circles?
Am I the only one?
Yes.
Different people at the range use different targets.
And what would you say the majority of the people at the range, what kind of target do they shoot at? What kind of silhouette is that target shaped of?
Well, now, by its very nature, what is a silhouette? Don't make it that.
Well, it could be a silhouette of a bunny rabbit.
Well, Sharon, I'll be more direct. When you go to the gun range, because I go there often, have you noticed that most of the targets that you're shooting at are in the shape of a man?
Yeah, they are.
Now, Sharon, why are people shooting at targets in a gun range at the shape of a man?
That's a good question. I don't know why.
Because they run out of targets shaped like bunny rabbits?
No. Phil? No.
Tell me why.
I'll tell you why, Sharon.
Okay.
It's conditioning. Why? You go to the gun range and you're supposed to be practicing your aim.
Yeah.
A lot of torso shots. How many torso shots are directed towards the heart? Just about all of them.
Yeah. That's the center of mass.
And then there's the headshots. All the headshots are directed dead center.
Oh, what's the point here, though?
The point is, Bob, if people were really owning these weapons to become better shooters with them and better marksmen, they would not be going into these places shooting at human targets.
Well, what do you go to the gun range for?
Sharon, when I go to the gun range, because I hunt, and because there's no places in Florida really around here that you can hunt, I have to keep my shooting edge. My hunting abilities, therefore, suffer. I go into the woods 3 or 4 times a year, and believe me, I pay and go as a guide, and often I come back with nothing. But I continue to go to the range because I'd like to keep my shooting ability.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sharon, I'd proffer to you.
We were thinking about a station promotion. I don't know how many people would be interested in this, but maybe there are other people like you. We were thinking about renting one of those paintball courses.
Bob.
No, hear me out, dude. This is really for guys like you. Putting Jeffy in the bear suit.
Oh,
God. Bob, let me tell you something. This is dead serious. I can't tell you who I am, but let me tell you this.
I'm afraid he's serious too, sir.
Let me tell you this, Bob. I used to belong to the IPSC.
and that's the International Practice Shooting Confederation. And I also used to belong to the NTI, which was the National Tactical Invitational. And what we used to do every year is we go out to a ranch in Arizona that I won't name, and we would have live gunfights with paint. And Bob, we would go in there and we'd go up against the local SWAT team, and they played the bad guys. And these were real life shoot situations.
Right.
Now I scored fairly well, and I'm a pretty good shot. But Bob, I can't tell you the number of times where I had a target and it was a bad guy, and I saw him, and I had him in my sight, and I was to pull the trigger, and I couldn't, because something would come up in my head every time, even though I was firing paintballs, that was another human standing there, and I would flinch. And out of about 150 opportunities, I think I pulled off 40 times, and I think I only hit 30 times, which for me is bad. I was killed, Bob, in excess of 100 times. And all these people who go out and get these guns for self-defense, and they go to the gun range and practice, and believe, and honestly have fooled themselves, because they honestly have fooled themselves, that they went and got these guns for self-defense, and that when the time comes, they will be able to pull that trigger. I pray to God that the person they pulled the gun out on is not armed with the gun.
Well, by God, you'll be set if a deer breaks into your house, won't you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, Sharon. If you got your weapon and your life is in danger, and the other person is not armed with a gun, and you can pull it out, and you can stop them and save your life, you know, more power to you. But
would pay me money to be able to go out there and take some shots at you in the bear suit. As a matter of fact, might sign up for that contest myself. Are station employees eligible?
Give it your best shot.
That little behind dancing.
Let's go to St. Petersburg. Hi, St. You're on the air at WSUN.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Lassiter?
Doing great.
I just wanted to, I don't know if Jeffy put it up or not, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to talk about guns or cricket mechanics. But,
oh, please, cricket mechanics,
cricket
okay?
Mechanics,
that's what I decided.
Good.
There was an Allied commercial on before while I was on hold, so I decided to go with mechanics.
Okay.
Have you heard, do you listen to commercials at all or not? Have you heard the new Allied, their new statewide, company-wide policy is that if they can't beat somebody else's price, they'll give you their tires free?
Is that a new one?
Yeah, it's been their policy for a while, but they're redoing it and saying the president of the company has made this an official policy that if we can't beat somebody else's price, it's yours free.
Okay, I'm sure there are some strings attached here.
Oh, same deal with
bras in the paper, too.
You don't have your size, you get a bra free.
I was thinking about it, and
size.
I can't see you walking into Allied Tires and saying, I can get these tires right here for $15. They're going to go, oh, we can't beat that. Here's them free.
Well, no,
when they just say, oh, okay, we'll give them to you for $14.
Well, first of all, you're going to have to prove to them that you can get them for $15.
Oh, right. But what I'm saying is, why would they ever give away a pair of tires, a set of tires, when all they have to do is beat it by 50 cents or a nickel?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm sure that somewhere there is some type of provision where they have covered themselves and they're not really planning on giving away any tires.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
it's just to catch your ear, and if that impresses you, then fine.
Doc, I used to get my oil changed for my truck.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's one of y'all's commercials on WSUN. But, I used to get my oil changed at this, one of the local chains, and I took my car there, my grandparents' car there, my parents' car there. My grandparents have 3 cars, my parents have 3 cars. And it was my job to take them all up there to get oil changes. And they rotate the tires free. And I got to suspecting that, you'd take them in, drop them off, come back later today, pick them up. And I was watching the way my tires were wearing, and I got suspecting that they weren't rotating the tires. So I started chalking my tires. And I took my truck in one day and, rotate, oh yeah, we'll do all that. Came back, pick them up, tires in the same spot. I went in and talked to the mechanic, and I said, yeah, did you rotate my tires? And he goes, oh yeah, we did it. I said, well, I chalked my tires, and it doesn't look like you did it to me. He's like, oh, well, they were wearing really good, so we decided you didn't need them rotated. I said, well, isn't the reason that they wear good is because you rotate them every 6,000 miles? He's like, well, they didn't really need it. I said, okay, well, why don't you just go ahead and rotate them for me anyways? He's like, well, it'll be about 4 hours before I can get to it. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to walk over next door, have lunch at Pizza Hut. When I get back, why don't you have it done for me? And I'm only 24 years old, and I look young for my age. I still get carded every time I go to buy beer or anything. And as I'm walking out the door, I hear him turn to the manager of the store who walked in while I was talking to him and goes, that smart-ass punk shocks his tires, so we got to rotate them. And I turned around, and I was being really cool about it, really nice. I turned around, walked back over to the counter, and I said, what the hell did you just say? And the manager looks at me. I didn't actually say hello.
Hello? Hello? Jeez, he must be calling from the lube place. 576 WSUN in Pinellas and Hillsborough, 221 WSUN. I guess they rotate their phones. All of their areas are what they are. And some of them are even toll-free at 1-800-356-WSUN. It's 529.
And now, an AM 620 WSUN Traffic Patrol Update. Here's Chris Walker.
We're still going to find accident activity on the interstate system in Tampa, southbound, 275 south of I-4 in the center lane. It was a tanker truck carrying orange juice and 2 other vehicles involved in an accident. Slowing down westbound I-4 almost back to 50th Street, and if you're traveling northbound 275, as you can imagine, some visual delays, as well as some visual delays on the southbound lanes. And if you're traveling in Polk County, specifically Lakeland, North Wabash and Memorial Boulevard has an injury accident with blockage. You have some signal malfunctions at Highway 92 and Kingsway in Tampa. And Williams and Fowler just coming in with an accident. That's east of I-75. Pinellas County is accident-free. This report is service of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are back and they're ready for action. The Buccaneers battle the Washington Redskins Sunday, September 24th. Tickets are on sale now. Call 879-BUCKS or Ticketmaster today. Chris Walker, AM 620 WSUN Traffic Patrol.
Well, I understand that I am the 28 Tampa Bay Newsroom's favorite talk show host. So let's check in with Brendan and Marty.
I'm Marty Tucker.
And I'm Brendan McLaughlin. Here are some of the stories coming up tonight at 6 on 28 Tampa Bay News. Pinellas County inmates in a maximum security jail went into a destructive rage, destroying plumbing, punching out glass, and ripping out electrical wires in their cells. We'll take you inside the prison for a look at the devastation, find out why they did it, and how much of your tax dollars it will cost to clean up the mess.
Plus, a tough Tampa Bay teenager was sent to boot camp to get straightened out, but his mother says he's being treated like a dog. Officers at the boot camp allegedly forced him to eat his own vomit. In a story you'll see only on 28 Tampa Bay News, we'll show you how state investigators are looking into this and other allegations of abuse.
Plus, we'll tell you about Southwest Airlines' new plans for Tampa Bay. They could change the way you travel.
Join us for these stories and much more. Plus, meteorologist Wayne Shattuck and Drew Sorsher on sports tonight at 6 on 28 Tampa Bay News.
The Outdoor Sportsman Center at 6066th Street North, St. Petersburg, offers 14,000 square feet of just about everything an outdoorsman could ever dream of. Combining the Army-Navy store and American Discount Marine, you get the best of the outdoors, all under one roof. American Discount Marine offers big discounts on such boating necessities as anchors, lines, oil, batteries, antennas, as well as those little accessories you just gotta have. And if you trailer your boat, you'll find trailer accessories, including lights, tires, wheels, bearing kits, springs, axles, everything you need at American Discount Marine. In the Army-Navy store, you'll find camping equipment, hunting equipment, and surplus sporting goods, work boots, hiking boots, guns, ammo, camp clothing, shorts, hats, T-shirts, self-defense equipment, and much more. If it's for outdoor fun, it's all there. Check out the specials currently available at the Outdoor Sportsman Center. Full bimini tops from $99. Trailer light packages from $19. Canoes starting at $275. Tents for $50. Jungle boots $29.99. Guns and ammo sale. Camping gear sale. The Outdoor Sportsman has it all. The Army-Navy store and American Discount Marine, 60th Avenue North and 66th Street.
Hello, this is Gary Spivey, Psychic to the Stars, and remember, I come on right after Bob Lassiter from 6 to 8 p.m. here on AM 620 WSUN. Now, back to my sales manager at Spivey's Corner, Mr. Bob Lassiter.
Bill Gates of, chicanery or anything like that. I'm sure it's probably just a coincidence, but just all of a sudden, ever since, I've started about 2 days before Windows 95 came out, I'm starting to get very bizarre error messages, floating point errors, and printing, and all kinds of very bizarre things that my computer has never done before. I'm sure it's just a coincidence,
My.
all these things that are, basically memory-related problems and that kind of stuff. You don't think that, there could have possibly been, programmed into my machine, these weird things, to start on a certain... No!
After you tried out...
This is just paranoia on my part.
Machine with a Pentium chip and Windows 95 at a store. It really turned you on, too.
No, I have this one program. It's an astronomy star map program. It's been running fine. Just absolutely fine. And about a week and a half ago, half of it I can't print. It gives me a floating point error and just totally messes up. I have to literally bail out, turn my printer off and on, and then turn the computer off and on, in that order, to be able to get other programs to function properly. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. And it's just pure paranoia on my part to want to, accuse Mr. Gates of personally sitting there at night programming in some type of,
that'd be a pretty good trick.
He'd do it. I know he would. Mm-hmm. He wants all the money in the world.
He's got all the money in the world.
Well, he wants the rest of it. He wants the sisters' money, too.
You know what bugs me? Ask me what bugs me.
Hey, Sherry, what bugs you?
It's not even the end of September yet, and little kids are already coming to my door saying, "You want to buy some school stuff?" And it's Christmas stuff.
Well, you're not still in school. Why would you want to buy school stuff?
They have to get the order in, Miss Taylor. Excuse them, okay?
I bought some stuff.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
Each one of them.
But I had one show up last night. Well, I had two show up last night. One dressed as a ballerina, one dressed as a little pirate saying trick or treat.
Boy, did they pick the wrong house.
Yeah.
And I said, but it's not Halloween yet. And they said, we're getting an early start.
We're getting our orders in.
Let's go to St. Petersburg. Hi, St. You're on the air at WSUN.
Hello, Mad Dog.
Hi, dude.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Hello, Miss Sharon.
Hello.
Oh. Mad Dog, now that you're 350 years old in dog life, I thought I'd ask you a few questions about reaching...
Oh, these calls scream better. Yes?
You find yourself telling complete strangers your medical problems, even if they don't ask?
No, I've been doing that for years, yeah.
You have? Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure. That's what I do. I come in here and tell you guys, right?
Yeah. All right, how about this one? Do you find yourself using more and more Clorox bleach when you do your laundry?
No, I stopped wearing underwear.
All right. Let me ask you this.
I was having too much trouble, I kept putting both legs through the same leg,
What did you do? Front hole. What did you do to convince yourself that feeding grackles and squirrels in your backyard on a Friday night was being cool?
Well, there is really an answer for that question. When I lived in Iowa, I was very disillusioned, and I don't think bitter is really the right word, but I was very disillusioned with what I had spent almost half of my life doing, and I didn't want to do it anymore, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I literally sat at the kitchen table looking out the window for hours on end, literally. And so my grandmother, oh God, my mother-in-law sent home with my wife one day a bird feeder and said, well, you're going to sit there looking out the back window. You might as well sit there looking at something. And so I said, oh, okay. And so I filled it up with bird seed. And all of a sudden I started seeing all these incredible creatures that I had never seen before that lived right around my house, but I'd never seen before. And I really became fascinated with it. And before I left Davenport, I had 9 different types of feeders with 9 different types of feed to attract different types of birds. And that's how I got into it.
And you were brought up in the city?
Suburbs, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it literally was because I was just looking out the window anyway.
Just doing your own thing.
And I became fascinated with who lived outside. And then I started to see other things.
Like astronomy?
Well, no. I was still looking out the window in the backyard. I started seeing all kinds of wildlife out there And then I started noticing different types of vegetation, and it frankly became very enjoyable to me.
Well, wait till the cool weather comes in. Boy, you're going to really enjoy your astronomy with that crisper, clear, stable air out there.
Oh, I can't wait.
Well, let me just say this, Bob, in closing. Don't worry about those gray hairs, man. Your underwear will cover them.
Okay. Take care. It started going great, God. Dude, when I was in high school. 576 WSUN in Pinellas and Hillsborough, 221 WSUN. Let's go to Tampa. Hi, Tampa. You're on the air at WSUN.
Yes, Bob. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Miss Sharon, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay. This is actually a call in rebuttal to that, I don't know whether he was a good old boy or what, about the guns.
Yeah?
Remember how he said that there is nothing in the Bible about killing a man?
Well, no, sir. That's not what he said at all. He said, remember what it says in the Bible is thou shalt not kill. That's what he said.
Well, there are three verses in this Bible that I have where you can kill, and you are told to kill. I have the New International Version Bible right here, and they're all within one chapter.
Oh, great, sir. 576 WSUN in Pinellas and Hillsborough, 221 WSUN. Don't start me on the Bible, sir. God almighty. Because for every verse that you've got in there are three of them that say the exact opposite. Give me a break. Save it for yourself and your friends down at the church. Don't waste it on us. Let's go to St. Petersburg. Hi, St. You're on the air at WSUN.
Hey, Bob. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
All right.
So I had to get off my high horse with that guy with the gun again also.
Yeah.
He can kill the animals, because the animals can't shoot back. That's why he couldn't shoot another person to do what he was supposed to be doing over there, overseas. Somebody comes in my house, somebody comes into Sharon's house, call up and get the blotter and come get them.
That's right, sir. Guns are the answer, no matter what the problem is. Let's go to Hillsborough. Hi, Hills. You're on the air at WSUN.
Hey, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Hey, third-time caller. But
anyway, half a squeak or something.
I had to laugh at the guy.
I'll open and close the lighter for him.
I had to laugh at the guy be talking about the quick lube place, about rotating the tires.
Oh, yeah.
We lost a very dramatic ending.
Yes.
I wanted to tell you something happened to me. I've been dealing with the same mechanic for about 17 years, and I take my car up there, and he charged me about, $50, $60 to tune it up. This guy would tune my car up where I couldn't even tell it was running. I'd pull up to a stoplight sometimes and think it stalled, and hit the ignition, and just grind it,
Oh, God, I've done that. Oh, Jesus.
He would tune it up so good, it was unbelievable. And it was an older car, too. But anyway, I had some kind of problem, and I couldn't afford to take it to him, and I had a friend come over and check it out, And we pulled the spark plugs on that sucker, and they hadn't been changed, and it looked like about 5 years, They were rusted. They were so rusted, you couldn't even get a socket wrench on them.
But if it ran well, come on,
It comes back to what you were talking to about the quality of somebody's work and stuff that you were talking about earlier, Now, did he rip me off?
No, it all depends. Did he charge you for new spark plugs?
No. He charged me for a tune-up, basically. It would say tune-up,
Well, tune-up implies new spark plugs, doesn't it?
I understand, but was I ripped off? It's kind of an interesting question. The guy did good work. He knew exactly what it needed. If it wouldn't pass inspection, he would do exactly it would pass inspection.
Well, see, I don't know what in the hell a tune-up really should cost anymore, because my last three cars have either been leases or with the extended warranty, where I was pretty much forced to get my car serviced at the dealership with all kinds of stuff, and I never really knew. I knew how much it was going to cost, but I never really knew what each individual thing cost.
Right.
It would be like, a 15,000-mile checkup is $397.
Yeah, that's all,
So I don't really know what the hell a tune-up costs anymore.
I know, it's kind of funny. This was an older car. Still had the points and plugs and all that stuff, and now the new cars, from what I understand, the tune-up is all computerized. All they do is change the spark plugs.
Well, hell,
that's what they call a tune-up anymore,
Seems to me that in my last car, the spark plugs weren't supposed to be changed until like around 35,000 miles, and there were several services before then.
I know, but if they're rusting on the engine, that seems to me it would be time to change it.
Well, yeah, you'd think so, yeah.
It's kind of an interesting question,
Even I would think that much.
Something happened. I was always happy, like I say, I'd take it there and that car would run beautifully, And it's just kind of an interesting thing what people are worth and everything. By the way, I make between me and my wife, we make about $40,000 a year, and we get by pretty good. We're not rich or nothing like that, but you're talking about what are people worth and stuff, and what's the minimum they should be paid and stuff. But if you take away 10,000 from that, we would be hurting. We would be hurting big time. I would think you'd have to at least bring home 30,000 a year to have a house and a car and everything else, And,
I'd have to think so too.
I had to at least answer that question. I heard that everybody was posing that earlier, and it just, it seems I don't see how people can get by for less than that.
Well, it is utterly absurd to think that entry-level jobs should or ever will pay like $30,000 a year.
Yeah, of course.
But the problem in the economy that we have now is that there are so many people, such a tremendous percentage of the workforce that will never see $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
And the answer is not starting people off at what the hell is that, $15 an hour. That's not the answer. That is not practical. But the answer is giving people realistic expectations of earning, and when I use quotations around earning, quotation marks, the $15 or so an hour, where you can do things like have a savings account and a modest home, and maybe take a short vacation once a year. You've got to have the hope and the expectation of being able to achieve that, and that's what a lot of people today do not have.
Yeah. And, on a lot of applications, left, are you married, things like that, they take all that into account as far as what...
Well, that's bullcrap.
You think so?
Yes, I do. You and I go in for the same job, okay? And we are both absolutely equal at it. You have 7 kids, I have none. I'm sorry, dude. You are not worth more than me.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. I have 7 kids, you have none.
Yeah, I understand that, but, I'm talking pittance here. They might hire you for, say, $7 an hour or $8, depending on the job, and they might hire me, give him an extra $1 because, he might need it, and start you out that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about, big money here. I'm talking about your standard job, put in an application, But they do weigh that, if anybody's out there listening, putting in applications, if you're married, it's a plus for you, if you have kids, in a way, it's a plus.
See, there's an entire group of people that suffer this very type thing. It doesn't really happen all that much anymore with men, married men with children versus single men without children. But I'll tell you where it does happen, where it is very, very common, so common to the point where they will actually tell you to your face, women. My wife has gone for jobs, and when she's inquired about, benefits or, what is the salary range here, she has been told outright, well, the women that we hire all have husbands with good jobs, so we don't offer insurance, or, we only pay X number of dollars because...
Yeah, my wife's gone through that.
That's dead wrong.
Yeah.
Dead wrong. And it's the same type of concept that you were talking about, with the men.
Yeah, it's kind of a fine line though that everybody walks. It's like what's an employer to do? Like you can't offer everybody the exact same amount because there's people with different needs and there's people with different qualifications for the job.
And there are people that work harder and who have more incentive, and those people should be rewarded. No two ways about it.
Yeah.
They must be rewarded because otherwise there's no incentive to do a better job.
That's what it's all about. Hey, there's a good book you should read. I hate to expound on something like that, but it's called I can't think of it right now. It's called In Defense of Elitism.
I
And
think I've heard of the book.
It's I don't know the author right now. I'm kind of about halfway through it, but there's a lot of things in there I agree with. There's nothing wrong with somebody going out there and trying and making money, and the whole society is kicking people that are trying to do that anymore.
Well, I don't know that they are, but there's nothing wrong with it. No, that's what our system is based upon, and it must remain based upon that.
Exactly. You got to have that.
But it must also be equitable.
Right.
It's got to be a little bit more fair in how we slice up the pie. That doesn't mean everybody gets the same piece of pie. That is not equitable.
Hey, you can't start a job and expect to make $30,000 a year or $40,000 a year. You got to work up to it. I've been truck driving for 17 years, and I finally got into a major oil company, and I'm still only making $10.35 an hour. I bring home about $300 a week, but that's after taxes and retirement and all this stuff, And I get by okay with my wife working. I'd love to have my wife not working, but I get by okay. And I just wanted to point that out. Nobody would draw a line of what you should make, or not. I'm telling you, this is what you should make at least, because I do okay.
Okay, dude.
Okay, thanks,
Hey,
Bob.
be good.
Bye.
You nodding off again, bumping into the,
No, I was just, my ear itched, and I was going to itch my ear and did that instead, and knock it into the head.
You just banged your head into the microphone 3 times.
You've done it, too. You just ignore it when you do it.
Well, I only do it once. You know, then I catch on. Oh, Jesus. It's 3:49. 5:49. Now, an AM 620 WSUN Traffic Patrol Update, brought to you by McDonald's. Here's Chris Walker.
Southbound 275 south of I-4 had an accident there blocking the center lane. They just reopened those lanes. Still can expect some delays in all directions. State Road 60 in Kings just in with a crash, and still wrapping up one in Lakeland on North Wabash and Memorial Boulevard with injuries. In Pinellas County, injuries at US 19 and Executive Drive. This report is service of 28 Tampa Bay News. Southwest Airlines has some new plans for Tampa Bay, which could change the way you travel. Find out how Southwest wants to move in on the competition tonight at 6 on 28 Tampa Bay News. Chris Walker, AM 620 WSUN Traffic Patrol.
Angels, aliens, are they one and the same? Do they come from a faraway place to help us out? Some people believe so. You gotta listen to my show tonight on AM 620 WSUN between 6 and 8. We're talking about angels, aliens. Are they one and the same?
Today's four-wheel drive vehicles can take you to places never before imaginable. But there is a price. Like all other cars and trucks today, these vehicles put a tremendous strain on their engines. Pistons pump furiously with temperatures reaching some 400 degrees. Valves slam into ports, while bearings grind away at each other with an almost self-destructive intensity. The fact is, the only thing keeping today's engines from completely destroying themselves is a layer of oil 1/1000th of an inch thick, which is precisely why you need Castrol GTX. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. Because without the proper protection, you could end up seeing more of the great outdoors than you bargained for. Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown.
Castrol on sale this week at One Stop Auto Parts.
Hey, Fez Bradley here, inviting you to the Turtle Club Thursday for the Ultimate Babe Watch Bikini Contest. This is week 1 of a 3-week contest where the winner of the finals gets a trip for 2 to Los Angeles and tickets to spend the day on the set of Baywatch. Round 1 is Thursday. Get there to register early. The first 25 girls are in. Finals held October 5th. No purchase necessary to enter or win. All brought to you by Arizona Iced Tea, Audio Zone, and the Gold and Diamond Stores.
Catch Tampa Bay Lightning hockey action all season on AM 620 WSUN, entertaining talk radio. And that starts what, this coming Saturday night?
What?
Is that the first game? Saturday night's game against, I believe, the Rangers?
Oh, I thought you were
Friday night we have a game also.
Oh, Friday night too?
Yes.
Oh, okay. They're playing Friday night.
I am not aware of that.
Jeffy, you're supposed to know everything.
Of course, being the flagship station, you think we'd have a schedule posted in there. So there's probably one in the general manager's office.
I have one probably right here. Just a second. Jeez. I got to do everything around this place.
It's handily located inside his briefcase, but at least Jeffy has one, see?
Oh, look what else is handily located inside of his briefcase.
Uh-oh.
All of Mr. Reback's missing coffee.
Jeffy, those filters.
You weren't supposed to be looking.
I want to go see that new movie, 7. It's supposed to be very, very scary.
Yeah, the number 7 ever comes up, and you'll have a movie that you can relate it to. That reminds me of a movie I saw.
I know, very scary.
Called 7.
I saw the previews, the trailers to it at the theater.
God, and then you could see
long ago.
Then you could see
Morgan
Fellini's
Freeman's
8.5, and then 9.5 weeks. God, you could work your way right up the.
It's a scary one. It's supposed to be real scary. Morgan Freeman is in it. Brad Pitt. I love scary movies. Take me to a movie, just scare me to death. Scarier movie, the better. I loved because it's supposed to be about a serial killer. Do you like scary movies?
She hasn't stopped chattering since she banged her head into the microphone.
They play the Islanders, okay?
Well, you say I don't talk enough, so I'm just chit-chatting. It's
the Rangers on Saturday, the Islanders on Friday. Take care of New York all in one weekend, okay?
I like scary movies myself. I love scary. Good
See, here
scary
we are
movies.
talking about hockey, and she's still talking about scary movies. Nobody said a damn thing about scary movies.
Well,
She just started talking about scary movies.
Bob and I were talking
Bob's not here.
about Showgirl. It starts this
Do you
weekend.
see Bob?
And that's supposed to be just
He's
a real
not
dog.
here, Sharon.
No, I know. But he's in the next room. And he was talking to me. I was commenting about his
He was
lovely
never
tie-dye
here.
shirt. Sometimes I feel that very same way, Bobby. So I'm just trying to amuse myself, that's all. I'm going to go see that movie 7. I'm so glad that I got to go see the Wong Fu. That was a funny movie.
Oh, you went to see the wrong food.
The Wong Fu, thanks to everything Julie Newmar.
Meatloaf. No, I'm Bob Lassiter. Let's go to a lady on the cell phone. Hi, lady on the cell phone. You're on the air at WSUN.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
Hey, listen, you just made that comment about your wife and what happened to her when she was looking for a job.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I've been doing the same thing for 15 years. I'm in construction, and I'm in sales. Well, I just recently finally got promoted into outside sales, and I found out that one of the men that's working doing the same thing as me that has only about 5 years experience is making about $4,000 more a year base salary than I am. And when I asked my boss, I confronted my boss with it. Do you know what he told me? I'm a single mother. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
14-year-old son.